Kilalanin natin ang official and super loaded complete lineup para sa ongoing 2026 Mpbl 8th season. Point guards. JD Kagulangan, new player, 5'8", 160 pounds, 26 years old, 7.7 points, 2.1 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 1.2 steals, 25% 3-point shooter, 79% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 KBL season averages. Encho Serrano, a star player, ex-PBA player, 6 feet, 176 pounds, 26 years old, 12.5 points, 4.2 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 0.7 steals, 28% 3-point shooter, 74% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Nico Elorde, new player, 5'10", 155 pounds, 34 years old, 9.1 points, 3.8 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1 steal, 25% 3-point shooter, 82% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Harley Baldo, homegrown player, 5'9", 150 pounds, 27 years old, 4 points, 1.4 rebounds, 0.9 assists, 0.2 steals, 50% 3-point shooter, 80% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Marwin Taiwan, injured list, 5'9", 160 pounds, 30 years old, 8.5 points, 2 rebounds, 4.9 assists, 1.5 steals, 36% 3-point shooter, 83% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Shooting guards. Cassius Small Martin, new player, 6'1", 185 pounds, 28 years old, 9.5 points, 2.8 rebounds, 3 assists, 0.9 steals, 29% 3-point shooter, 61% free throw shooter in his 2023-2024 Brock University season averages. Mike Ayunayon, 6 feet, 170 pounds, 33 years old, 8.1 points, 4.4 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 0.7 steals, 0.5 blocks, 28% 3-point shooter, 92% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Will Kenley, homegrown player, 6 feet, 168 pounds, 24 years old, 3.6 points, 1.2 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 0.3 steals, 0.3 blocks, 40% 3-point shooter, 33% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Jorel Gonzalez, homegrown player, 6'1", 170 pounds, 28 years old, 2.9 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 0.5 steals, 33% 3-point shooter, 50% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Ayon nga sa Reddit source na si Sir Snow Badua, ay open daw maglaro si Terence Romeo sa Abra Weavers ngayong Mpbl 8th season. Terence Romeo, pending, signing, 5'11", 180 pounds, 34 years old, 10.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 0.5 steals, 40% 3-point shooter, 80% free throw shooter in his 2026 35 Dubai tournament averages. Jake Figueroa, new player, 6'3", 195 pounds, 24 years old, 13.9 points, 7.2 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 2.1 steals, 1 block, 25% 3-point shooter, 70% free throw shooter in his UAAP 88 season averages. Dave Ildefonso, superstar player, reigning Mpbl season MVP, 6'4", 190 pounds, 25 years old, 17.3 points, 7.5 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 1.6 steals, 0.3 blocks, 26% 3-point shooter, 68% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Redel Fabro, homegrown player, 6'1", 175 pounds, 28 years old, 3.7 points, 1.9 rebounds, 0.4 assists, 0.3 steals, 24% 3-point shooter, 44% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Jay Utuk, Homegrown new player, 6'2", 170 pounds, 27 years old, 14.1 points, 4.8 rebounds, 0.8 assists, 0.7 steals, 38% 3-point shooter, 69% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Sean Ildefonso, new player, 6'2", 198 pounds, 28 years old, 2.6 points, 1.4 rebounds, 0.1 assist, 50% 3-point shooter, 5 games played in his PBA 50th Philippine Cup averages. Power forwards, DJ Fener, new player, 6'6", 215 pounds, 32 years old, 8.5 points, 2.9 rebounds, 1.1 assist, 1 steal, 0.3 blocks, 33% 3-point shooter, 78% free throw shooter in his 2024-2025 Lithuania Vet Safe season averages. Jan Uduba, 6'4", 210 pounds, 28 years old, 5.3 points, 6.8 rebounds, 0.5 blocks, 0.5 steals, 45% 3-point shooter, 58% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Alfred Batino, former PBA 3x3, 6'4", 220 pounds, 34 years old, 4.4 points, 4.6 rebounds, 1 assist, 0.4 steals, 0.6 blocks, 45 field goal percentage, 69% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Joshua Asuncion, homegrown new player, 6'3", 200 pounds, 24 years old, 2.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, 0.5 assists, 0.3 steals, 23% 3-point shooter, 4 games played in his NCAA 100 season averages. Centers, Tucker Molina, new player, 6'6", 210 pounds, 23 years old, 2.6 points, 1.6 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 0.5 steals, 0.6 blocks, 63 field goal percentage, 78% free throw shooter in his 2024-2025 US NCAA season averages. Drex De Los Reyes, new player, 6'8", 230 pounds, 22 years old, 9 points, 4.3 rebounds, 0.6 assists, 0.6 steals, 0.2 blocks, 59 field goal percentage, 68% free throw shooter in his 2025 Pinoy Liga Cup averages. Raven Gonzalez, 6'7", 220 pounds, 24 years old, 7 points, 5.9 rebounds, 0.9 assists, 0.6 steals, 1.7 blocks, 57 field goal percentage, 57% free throw shooter in his 2025 Mpbl 7th season averages. Ito ang official and super loaded complete lineup ng Abra Solid North Weavers para sa ongoing 2026 Mpbl 8th season. Sa tingin mga kababos, back-to-back champions na ba ang Abra sa lineup nilang ito? I-comment nyo na po yan sa baba.